Greetings and thanks for tuning in today. My name is Dr. 𝗀𝗃𝗏 and I want to ask you, do you have foot pain that keeps coming back? Does it increase when you run, ruck, or walk? If it keeps coming back, it might not be your foot, especially if you've tried lots of home remedies or even going to the doctor for your foot. So today what I want to do is show you a test to see if you have a hip imbalance. Now, the purpose of this video is to show you the test and to help you figure out if you have an asymmetry. It's not to treat you. So I'm not trying to diagnose or treat or cure anything in this video, but I want to raise your awareness because if your hip is, with this test, in asymmetry, the hip could actually be the root cause of your problem with your foot. So why does this matter? Because if the hip is a problem, or I should say an asymmetry, then what can happen is that's going to affect the rest of the chain down the leg. It's kind of like your hip, knee, ankle, foot, it's connected, right? So if that's connected, then one part of that chain, if that link is asymmetrical and not working the way it should, it's going to affect everything below. Now, let me go ahead and show you this test. It is called the heavy leg test. And so what you're going to do is you can lay on the floor or lay on your bed. The first part of the test is you're actually going to just prop up on your elbows for about 20 seconds. This is to help your back relax. And that's really important. If you skip this step, then what can happen is the test may show that like your pelvis or your hip is asymmetrical when it's not, or it may show that it's not asymmetrical when it is. So after about 20 seconds, you're going to lay flat and you're going to lift one leg up and hold for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You want to think about how heavy that leg felt. And then you're going to compare it to the other side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you bring that leg down. Now, if both legs feel the same, it's symmetrical. You don't need to do anything. That's probably not the root cause of your foot pain. But if one side feels heavier, you more than likely have an asymmetry where one side of your pelvis is rotated forward. Now, why does that even matter? It matters because if one side of your pelvis is rotated forward, let's just say it's the right side. So I'm exaggerating. But look what happens when I put my right side of my pelvis and hip into a forward position. Look what just happened to my knee when I did that. The hip bone, the femur, sits in its socket differently, creates an angle, what we call adduction, and that causes the knee to come in, which is also known as genu valgus, or knock knees. But also at my foot, guess what happened? My arch collapsed. So I decreased my arch height and I threw my foot into putting more pressure on the inside of my foot. Now I'm going to take myself out of that. So if one side of your pelvis is forward, all these things happen. So maybe you don't just have foot pain, maybe you have knee pain. Or maybe you're thinking, okay, I started to have foot pain and then all of a sudden I got knee pain. Well, you can see by just doing that test, that asymmetry shows that one side of the pelvis is forward. And if that happens, these hip flexors go into a shortened position and your hamstrings go into a lengthened position. That's another asymmetry because now the front side of your muscles are in a shorter position than the back side of your muscles. And when this happens, you have tightness and you have elongation happening at the same time. Those asymmetries alone can create a lot of havoc on that lower leg, but guess what? You might have symptoms on the other side that the root cause of the problem is coming from this side. So it's all working together. The hip bone, the knee bone, or the hip, it's kind of like that song, hip bone's connected to the knee bone, connected to the foot bone. But that's for real, actually. So what this test reveals is that you have an asymmetry. So now what do you do about that? Well, there's lots of things, which is why the purpose of this video is to show you the test and not the treatment for it. But it is a simple fix that takes generally less than 3 or 4 minutes at home. And I include this test as well as the fix in my 𝗀𝗵𝗴𝗵𝘁 system in my virtual academy. If you are interested in learning more about how to fix this, and if you are interested in taking the next step to discover if you have more asymmetries, then I recommend going through my 𝗀𝗵𝗴𝗵𝘁 movement matrix, which is a free screen to identify multiple areas in your body that could be contributing to chronic symptoms that you may be experiencing. Whether it's in your foot, knee, hip, back, neck, shoulder, doesn't matter. This 12 movement screen called the movement matrix is going to look and identify your asymmetries. Then you can schedule a clarity call with me, and that's also free to kind of figure out what the next steps are. So you have two options. You can schedule that comment in the feed test, and I will send you the movement matrix free screen, test or free screen, whichever you want to use, or just go to my website at wellness-track.com and click on Clarity Call, and we can have a conversation about the results that you found from this heavy leg test. I hope this helps give you some clarity on what might be happening at your hip and pelvis and how that might be influencing your chronic foot symptoms. Thanks a lot, and hope to chat soon.